Okay, yes, I am. Was I? Oh, Shiznik. Well, maybe that's good because some of it was better than other stuff. I may have been muted. I know I was touching the screen at one point, so I don't know if this whole thing was muted or not, but if so, sorry about that. And we have to do it all over again then. No, I mean, there was some gems, but, there was also some, yeah. But I was, saying, oh, if only it was a dog, and I can't remember what else. But anyway, yeah, confidence and, relating. How long have you been streaming? Oh, not very long with this one. I mean, 11 years, 11 minutes. But, what do you call it? In total, well, on a different platform, and then on here, probably, well, I mean, when I think about reacting, I think about karaoke videos and this and that, probably 10 to 15 years. On here, maybe 5 or 10. Okay, that's good. Set to be muted. Oh, yeah. Have you done that? But what do you call it? And here's the G and the GNC. By the way, I did cover your songs. I noticed you posted another version of it, though. But I just want to play you a little bit of this. Then I might sing you a karaoke cover, and then we'll go from there. Because I was trying to convince some people under one of the audition videos that said something about, oh, it's going to be good when they say that they're a popular karaoke singer or whatever. I said, it can be, and other things I said, but it also isn't, especially when they're drunk.
Well, yes.
Oh, this is, we go by our initials, this is Big G.
Hi.
That's it, right? Hi, low, what's up? What's down? The opposite of up. Why does this speed up?
This is me.
And these are singing bowls.
I actually am the person who started this channel back in 2007. So.
And then the person that keeps it going strong.
He's the one that's using it most at the moment. If you're interested in piano videos, pan flute, yeah, go back and check 2012. I had a very popular video that year.
Oh, the
yes,
the OG, original guy,
something like that. Yeah,
original.
Back
Gremlin?
in 2013, I almost got famous.
The original God.
The original
That's must
God.
be what it means.
One of my videos has 10 million videos. 10 million videos. One of my videos has 10 million views.
One of your videos has 10 million.
That's right. I made some $40,000 off that video.
I don't think he's ever thought of himself that way.
Hey, that's dope.
That's Simpsons to you.
Simpsons?
Yeah, dope. That's the second time I made that joke today. Do we give that vibe? Let us get our bling and our loose clothing. Anyway.
He said I should make faces.
Huh?
He said I should make faces.
He said?
No.
I said.
He said.
At one point in time, yeah.
So I'm making faces.
You should also get me a cold one.
You should give me my cell phone.
I will after I cover this song.
I should go upstairs.
So I'm going to prove that you can sing about karaoke. It'll demonetize. That sounded weird. We keep demons out of it. We hunt for them and kill them. Not quite, but thanks. But I really like this song, and I was showing it to G a moment ago. And I just heard an interesting version, but I think it might not be good if I covered it with it, as far as YouTube is concerned. But I'll do this song. And my friend, just a very quick flash. Hey, what are you doing quickly flashing our viewers? Anyway, who was a karaoke host. Colton, you behave too, sorry. But anyway, and I'll do this song. Oh, you left. I think, or did you? Does it just look like it? Either way, I'm going to do this song. And then I'll give this to you, and I'll give that to you, and you take your maiden dip. He'll be like, he should be making it big. And I'll be like, ooh, that's a terrible commercial. Cal, you still there? Sorry if you didn't like my joke. I don't need to monetize it. I was a ghost, I was alone. Keep that separate. Just a moment. Sorry for the interruption. You need to keep that separate. We're holding it for him.
This one.
The one that the stuff is in. Yes, please.
A different one
no, please. Thank you.
Sure.
I didn't know how to believe. I was the queen that I meant to be. Just says it. Lived two lives trying to play both sides, but couldn't find my own lane. Called a problem child, 'cause I got too wild. Now that's how I'm getting paid. I'm hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. With human hearts we've come so far now. I believe. Might be welcome to the covers. Going up, up, up. It's a moment, it's on. Gonna be glowing. Gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up with our voices. I'll say those foreign names. Gonna be golden. And I'm hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. It's a hard one. I will say it's a hard one to sing, and this might not be showing my voice very well. And I realize that. I realize when I'm maybe not sounding my best. But I've done it better on the guitar, I think. But whatever. Time of fear, no lies. That's where who we're born to be. Waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now. Finally live like the new they all see. No more hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. No life, no voice is strong, no I believe. Behind it, when I'm plugging start with this one. It's the moment, now together we're glowing. Gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up with the voices. Gonna be golden. I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. Wait a minute, pause it for a moment. Okay, so many of us don't realize something I'm just reading here. So I think I'll just do that much of this song. And let's just say that I actually, because I've done karaoke covers before, and what it ends up saying is that is that it just can't be monetized, but otherwise it's fine. So you can edit it out or whatever. So I'm fine with it not being monetized. It's only 8:40. Holy smokes, feels like it's later. You know, I do like money just as much as the next guy, but I'm fine if it's not monetized. Here, I'm just trying to get a water that's not too cold for my teeth and not too warm to be kind of meh. I know it's just water, but cold water is actually kind of refreshing, right? So, but yeah, that little thing in the window that I didn't realize, you know, and it may mute that section. I didn't, but it may. Or yeah, just, you know. But people do, you know, covers including karaoke, and we get the emails afterwards that say that, you know, this content, this and that, so it just wasn't monetized. I wanted to, I think we've kind of touched enough on the one topic for now. Unfortunately, this other video isn't still live where I could tell some of the people that I'm rolling, because I think some of them may have been curious to check out my channel. I'm glad to the handle, you know, because they were enjoying chatting with me, and I said a little bit about the channel. but um, basically, so I'm tired. I want to process this chat because they were talking about certain music people, this and that, and I honestly think this particular video isn't necessarily going to be too musical because I'm kind of tired from the day, and I'd rather kind of do that tomorrow, I think. But I did want to talk about something else, which I have mentioned in the title, so I'll do that. Which is basically sorry, let me just this is a shared device and I'm just trying to find G's window for the thing. Sounds like he's getting a bit distracted down there, but it's okay because it's and if ever does see this, I'll just say, we not only do we appreciate your purchases, but we also appreciate you as a person, and and that sometimes you don't seem to get when and it's usually not necessarily super urgent, but like today, like I say, I've just been very lethargic or whatever. But when we're kind of trying to wrap things up, like today when I was saying, oh, you get better discounts from me, I'm just saying something quickly to someone who may or may not follow our channel, I'm not sure. And G's going to be home soon, and he's going to be coming through this door, but I really enjoyed the sound bath, essentially is what it was, which is pretty much meditation bowls, a lot of deep tones and tones with like other tones in them and that, and he was playing a bunch of different ones in different orders, and he was noticing things about them, like this is an A that's a tone down from another A, or this has this in it, and blah blah blah. So I mean, I don't know, in some ways I kind of learned a lot, and part of me also kind of didn't care. It was kind of like, let's just enjoy this, we don't have to know the other stuff. Like he's big about using his apps, and a couple of them I've seen that, like one was really pretty, like the moving yellow stuff, but it's on my foot. But he's definitely not, he wants to have ones that he can play them all together. And he's not one that goes by, well, he is kind of, and he's been here a few times. I think this is the first time I've maybe really noticed it, although possibly not the first time, where it's kind of like more than the sound and the vibration. No, I don't know if he's musical. That's never came up. He hasn't said he is or asked to play any of our other instruments, but it's possible that, yeah, the sound and the vibration is important too, but he also wants to make sure that they sound good together and that they complement each other, scale-wise and this and that. So, because we have a few of them that we sell, so. Anywho, I feel a little bit awkward. I mean, I didn't think that my joke was that off-color, but it looks like Kyle left, but maybe his phone died, or I'm not sure what. Oh, one other thing I quickly want to do, even though I got time to do it tomorrow. Oh, right, because I do want to keep it on that, so maybe not. I'll go with whatever you do with me afterwards, but I'll have to do it plugged in. Yeah, but one thing I wanted to talk about is labels, and I know my title was kind of specific and hopefully intriguing, but it wasn't necessarily even intended to be the latter, but if it is, then it is. So I didn't get very much the first time. I have anemia and my lips kind of feel kind of itchy and like they're burning if I don't put it on. Yeah, it's weird, but it's been like that for the past 2 or 3 years. Anyway, it's because I'm hot lips. No, it's good. Anyway, but um, so yeah, a while ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I did a video about suppressing things in our life and what do we suppress and this and that. And I had somebody in mind when I did that video. Sorry, I'll change that because it's less distracting. I had somebody in mind when I did that video. Welcome, by the way. Haven't been rolling super long, but glad. Okay, you left. Anywho, and it's actually kind of ironic because of the bottom comment I'm seeing too, from somebody. But basically, I guess this is kind of a double topic itself. The importance of being yourself and honoring yourself. I know sometimes we might feel like, you know, we shouldn't or whatever. But I'm thinking of someone who's bi, and she labeled me as gay because of the type of relationship I'm in. When she knows that people that at her age, and also with who she is, but again, I think she's been suppressing herself, and since it doesn't feel like it's something she's actively focusing on about herself, it's very kind of, I don't even think the phrase would be face value. It's very, I say it as I see it. And, even though she used to say she was the type of person who would, obviously not in all situations, but easier, digital, online, that would pause for a moment to decide if it was the right time, whether it was to answer a call or to reply to a message. And I would think that would apply to either right time or does it make sense to say certain things. And she sent me a message recently, and yeah, she was saying, "Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. Interesting timing. I wondered where you'd went. Glad to have you back." Anyway, I'm on to the second topic now, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll feel energized. I've been lethargic most of the day, but maybe I'll feel energized to do a song. I think you did hear me musically, but I'm not entirely sure if I was just blabbering when you first discovered me, and I think you've only seen the one video, but maybe I'm wrong on that too. What kind of work are you doing? And you're working late at night. Well, here it's 10 to 9 in the evening. Otherwise, it wouldn't be late at night. But I suppose it might not be there, but if I remember correctly, you're in the States, so most of them are either the same time as us or not much different. You might briefly lose me. I'm going to plug in. That could be interpreted different ways. But do you work in medical? Because that's common in medical. Okay, there's the thing. It's open to your emails, your tab. There's that thing. I was going to bring it up, but I think you can figure it out. And it's where your tab is, and it's been behaving pretty good. So, yeah. And Kyle came back, which reminds me a bit of a story. So you're working. It must be pretty quiet where you work, though. That you're watching. I don't know if you've ever heard of, because I think he's famous all over Canada. And yeah, it was so cool talking about Canadian musicians on that other. They were from Tennessee, and one of the viewers had a name which reminded me of someone, which may have been the one you saw, that my step saw in an airport once. Oh, cool. That would have been G, Gangsta G. I mean, I do play piano. I don't know if I'd say I'm really great, though. But I guess you didn't say anything on them, but we're so happy to hear from you. And if you have a song request, and did you hear my cover of your video? I'm just going to plug in the phone. You might briefly lose me, but I'll be right back. Oh, it looks like you didn't. Oh, thanks. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a bit more basic. I don't do the classical stuff. Um, that's interesting. So I guess you've been one of the silent watchers that's been liking. That I've been pulling teeth saying, "Who's watching? Where are you watching from? Don't be shy." And you've been, but no, it's okay. Um, that's something that probably happens sometimes. People that sometimes comment, sometimes don't, but still enjoy. So I'm curious what other ones you've seen. Oh, okay. Well, you can still comment on them. Anyway, I want to focus back on the topic of this video, the other bit of it. I hope I hope you'll be cool with it. I'm a fairly diverse, free-spirited individual. I do believe that you might be religious, and I'm not religious, and I'm not going to get hugely into religion. But okay, it's only the second one. Oh well, it's live. Okay. And the other person at that moment, they're like, "Oh, you're not religious? Does that mean you are or you aren't?" I think I mean you're not. I'm just kidding. You're spiritual. Okay, cool. Me too. Um, I don't know. Actually, we may have talked about the afterlife and sensing things before. But what I want to make sure I focus on talking about, even though I have time to do it tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a solely music podcast tomorrow. Well, I shouldn't say solely, because that's not very likely, but largely musical podcast tomorrow. Some Canadian artists. So if you have any favorites, I know that there'll probably be some Yes Who, BNL. I already did Anne Murray music. I take from Western and Western religion and philosophy, which I don't know a ton about, but I don't know if that counts as Buddha. I'm really more agnostic myself. I'm just saying that I felt like, because you don't have a ton of videos, and I didn't watch all of them, and they're all short, but I did notice most of them, I think. And I'm just saying that you had some religious lyrics, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm not sure if you saw my cover. Like I say, I did post it. And speaking of stars, like you and I, and Eastern Star, whatever that is, I think the star might be a typo. I put the star in it because it, oh, okay, it was something about stars, right? And it shoot for the stars, I believe. Yeah. Anywho, I wanted to, and I feel comfortable doing so, and I want to do it. Chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. You were a pretty heavy Christian. I'm just curious what changed that. It's all good, but just curious. And yep, what? Anywho, we got three of you here, and I feel like this topic is important for a few reasons, the one I'm about to do. And one of them is especially universal, I would say, because we all have other people in our lives that we're close to. Even if we don't feel like we have a close family or a lot of friends, we still have people in our lives, and we also coexist amongst them, right? Surprise? And so I want to talk, I've mentioned in one of the recent videos that labels are okay if we accept them and we own them, and they're not negative things. As I was mentioning, I have a contact that I am hesitant to reach back out to, and it makes me very sad because she is a great person. She's got some health issues. Oh yeah. Cool. She's got some health issues, and I'm not entirely sure what they are, but she helped me out the one day. It was really nice. She brought me to something, gave me a ride to it, waited there. She may have had a book or things in her bag she was looking at, but she doesn't have a cell phone because she's old school. And she sat there for almost 2 hours and waited till I was finished, and that was very nice of her. She's been a nice contact to have, even though we've went times where we haven't talked much. And I can't remember if in the past there's been reasons behind that, or if it just has been that way. I'm kind of feeling like I want to put my socks on, actually, but I'm just saying that because I'm going to put the phone down and do so. And I'll have to remember to give the dog water too in a moment. But he's not up here right now, so yeah. Anyway, so basically, as I mentioned in one of the, mentioned a little bit earlier in this video, sorry, I'm going to unplug it so I can multitask here. I feel like she's suppressing herself. Partly because of her age, maybe, but I also just think, I don't know. And so what that somewhat has done with her is it has made her, as you know, she's a very kind and accepting person or whatever, and definitely one to encourage others, but she, it's like she's numb to maybe I should say the specific example. um, and I guess I was thinking about this tonight because I was thinking about her. um, I'm bisexual and I'm in a same-sex relationship, and she said, "You're a gay man," and I says, "I am not." And if I was, I wouldn't be bothered by the statement. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just isn't me. And I just thought I couldn't believe that she just like labeled me and did it wrong. And she's old enough that she should know better. And I remember one time, and I don't know why. I want to also say, if there's a really effeminate guy, I would say that you are right to maybe guess that they might be not straight. But ask them. Although I would say that kind of thing is very much a spectrum, and I don't think anybody is fully just one orientation. Maybe some of the like elderly people, they're not maybe as, I don't want to say wild, but you know what I mean. I mean, let's do it. They and this person I'm talking about. All right, we got three again. It's maybe about late 50s, mid to late 50s. Like I would, yeah, even say, they like, "You wet?" Were really, and just kind of silly and goofy and everything. Okay. It's a funny typo though. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm saying when I'm referring to, that it comes at a cost to, whether you want to call it presume or mislabel. It can hurt a friendship, because I felt like, and I know we live in a culture and society where but honestly, it's a human need in various ways to feel validated. And I felt it was invalidating of her to do that. And a little stupid, to be honest. Like I say, at her age, she should have thought that through a bit more before she sent it, And she wasn't trying to be mean. I think I corrected her. I don't remember if she saw that email, because she was talking about someone that was staying with her and a car that hit a electrical post and they had a power outage, and which, I mean, I had asked for I think I had asked about a favor, and she said she didn't get my message till much later because of that. So I can't remember if that, I think it maybe did come after me kind of reminding her, and maybe she was embarrassed, and that makes me think of another friend, actually, because another thing about me, we're learning lots about me at the moment, but I'm not one that hides, and I'm pretty free-spirited. But sometimes, I take things slow, and sometimes I don't. I don't really think being silly is... Okay, well, I didn't mean it that way. I guess what I meant is I thought maybe I came across a little flamboyant, which is interesting, because I don't usually think of myself as such. But and some people might be offended by that, but I would agree with you. She got it half right. I would agree with that. That actually maybe put it into perspective for me. However, I have another recent example. I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, and I don't know if that putting it into perspective is helpful in this situation. And since it looks like you're the only one here, I'm gonna be brave about it. And also, I hope my friend Habib and Sam are okay. And there's a couple others I think I've been worried about, but at the moment I'm thinking about what I'm about to share. I have been also exploring the gender spectrum. I'm a very much a spectrum person. I said it in one of my videos the other day. Whether it's mild OCD or mild ADHD or always kind of in the middle, or the gender, or a couple other things too, but I can't think of what they are about me. I don't think you're too flamboyant. You kind of come across it. Well, and it says here now, but I just put that, and I think it's inaccurate. No, that I am mostly a musician, but I am, and like I say, I don't know, because I'm also, I had this on. Well, this friend of mine, she has an old computer, and she says it doesn't work with sound properly or whatever. But I put this on because my shirt I felt was going to be distracting, and I have hat hair. My hair has a mind of its own lately, but I like it, and I wear a hat most of the time, so it doesn't matter. But I put this on because I felt my shirt was distracting, and it's fall now, and sure, it's a little bit, maybe, I don't know. We all hold stereotypes. We all hold certain beliefs, right? And they aren't always right, or wrong, I meant. But I've got a fan in front of me, and I've got the AC on in the next room over there, and I'm still warm, so I think I'm going to take this off. Don't worry, that's all I'll take off. Unless you want me to do more. Just kidding. I don't think you're too flamboyant. You kind of come across as nerd. Anyway, I read that. But I do want to share this other experience, because I don't know if I can grow with it or not. I don't know, it just shows a bunch of X's, but I think it's a symbol. So I have a friend. Recently I was telling somebody about one of my longest friends where I live. He passed away in 2022, and his mother passed away in June, I think, at 104 years old. And she was in a wheelchair. I knew her pretty much the whole time I knew him. She was all, he was, she was in her 80s at that time, and that. And it's ironic that I mentioned this because I never really connected the dots. But this other friend was also in a wheelchair and a partial amputee. I don't think she spends a lot of time on YouTube, but she is more on social media and on the internet than she used to be. She used to have not great Wi-Fi access and stuff like that. And in fact, G's niece, I believe, lives in the same building. They probably have talked to each other. She's been there for a little while now. The other one's been there even longer. I remember one time we were trying to fix something with her wheelchair, and my mother and my step came to pick me up. And they were misseeing what they were seeing. I guess it was late at night, and they thought that we were just a couple of either homeless people or just people sitting on the at the side of the street or whatever. But we were trying to, because I knew someone who very nicely got a second-hand wheelchair for her. I don't think she was looking for a new one, but maybe I didn't know about something they talked about. Anywho, so I've known this woman for a while. She was one of those people that I did know outside of the place I met her at. I mean, the place I met her at was on the same street as that she lived on. And yeah, I was at her place a number of times. She, like with her mobility issues, well, I lived in an apartment. I don't remember her being at my one apartment. I have a specific memory about her being at the other one, but possibly more than one, which I was showing. She was never at my mother's when I lived there. She was never at the hotel when I briefly lived there. And she hasn't been here. Now, this is where it gets especially interesting. Speaking of spirituality, I sometimes channel loved ones, mine and occasionally other people's. And I have had very real experiences, very healing experiences. Don't know if I go as far to say life-changing, but I have had some very powerful experiences. And I've talked about, I just the other day, because I do it live sometimes too, to show what it looks like, for me. And hopefully, actually the other day, I forget there was names in the video title, and they were actually saying, my dad and my friend Ray that was shown here, and a couple other people, one other one I think, were actually saying some nice things to the viewers, not just to me. And if it resonated with other people, okay. I can't remember details, but anywho, I had thought that I had channeled her once she's passed away. I still remember there's another lady that I knew, and she worked at an agency that she left the job for health reasons. I wasn't very involved in the place, and because I knew she had health issues, I, well, not just because of that, I truly felt like I had channeled her once. And I think it must have been after running into her that I thought, okay, maybe she was in a coma state, because that can happen. Um, but I almost feel like it was before then. But anyway, basically, one day we were kind of bakery hopping. We tried to order a couple of different bakeries, and we saw her standing by. I think maybe it was either her car or her friend's car, and she was just standing outside waiting. And I ran into her, and this is someone who I've been trying so hard to reconnect with when we just, when we parted ways, not by choice. And her fellow co-workers were stupid. They were like, well, that's a privacy thing. We can't tell you, blah, 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 blah. And then I run into her, and I could have asked myself, but I was so surprised to see her. One, because she's alive, or was at the time anyway. And two, I just was. It was very brief. We had another bakery we wanted to stop at. That was pretty urgent. And we just... And it's sad, because she was even more open-minded about a couple of things my spouse likes than I am. But anyway, but back to this other person. So, and thanks for hearing me out and listening. This is something that I've been not constantly, but holding in my heart and feeling sad about for a while. So, we had a mutual, more than one probably, but with this one lady. And the one day I said, I don't know why, because like I say, I felt like my experience had been real. But I think what happened is I asked her if she'd seen the lady. And they knew each other from the same place I knew her from, actually. And she said, yeah. And I said, can you get her to contact me? Here's how. And she contacted me. I think she left a voicemail the first time. And then we talked, and then we got together about 3 or 4 times in the span of maybe 3 months, maybe even 4 or 5 times. She even got to meet G and our dog. We mostly went to cafes and bakeries. Had a lovely time. I felt, she already knew my orientation, my relationship. Great person. A little quirky, but great person. And as I was mentioning earlier, I've been at home by myself, not often, but exploring what I said earlier, the second person here now. And I told her about that. Well, first she said, I would suggest not this and this, at least that wouldn't be for me, she said. But I could tell that she was accepting it and supporting it, but she signed it off, her message, with little bro. And she's never said that to me before, and it seemed like the opposite of what she should have said with what I told her. And I thought, how did she not notice this? So I asked, and I don't remember my specific wording, but she said, oh, it was just a spur of the moment comment. And it was very interesting to me, somewhat surprising. I think because I was starting, as I said to G once, I have a feminine side. Most of us do, I'm looking at a messenger icon of a friend who says that she's seen her husband try on her bras before, balloons or otherwise, and she actually thinks it's kind of fun and cool. Yeah, she'd never said that before, and it would have made sense to me, I think, I quite strongly think, to have said the opposite if she was going to say it at all. Whoops, sorry, I have to plug this in, but it's okay, I can keep rolling. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, of course. You're not shy, I don't think. Oh, briefly lost me there. But yeah, so basically, and remember, like I say, it wasn't surprising to me how much that kind of annoyed me. I just thought it was really out of line, really odd, out of her character. Um, and I wasn't buying that it was just a spur of the moment thing. Like she said, it was nothing deep, but apparently it was. And I remember trying to share some feelings with her about it, to which she replied, and she replied to emails pretty quickly actually, talking about her day. I don't know if she said anything to anything I said. I think she did, but certainly not on this topic. Like she was glossing over it. And, you know, earlier I'd said about this other friend, and these are the only two issues I've really kind of had in this area, thankfully. And that's how it should be. I mean, there shouldn't be many, but you know, things happen sometimes, and with the best of intentions from people sometimes, right? And basically, I think maybe she felt embarrassed. But also, how hard is it to apologize? You know, I don't think it's hard. Of course, after some time goes past, and perhaps with those feelings of embarrassment also in there, maybe it's harder. I don't know. I am pretty good at apologizing. I never want to make anyone feel, you know, I mean, some people are maybe a little easily overly offended, but I never want to make anyone feel bad. You know, I actually, like if I ever say something, you know, a lot of my communication, obviously not only, but a lot of it is online and not in video. So when I'm writing, I'm very methodical. So I'm thinking, how does that come across? I'm critical of myself that way, I think. And I thought that these two people were as well. But sometimes you send something quicker than you normally would or whatever. And yeah, basically, well, your feelings are valid because you're yours. They're yours. What is really important to you won't be to someone else, and it's hard for them to see with why it had such an effect on you as all. But yes, I would have apologized for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it saddened me because we had fallen out of contact with her, mostly because, like I say, she didn't really have... Sorry, I was looking for my one water. I guess this is it, but this feels colder than the one I was looking for. But I don't see it, so it'll have... Oh, here it is. Because she didn't really have a strong... in her building, the Wi-Fi wasn't great, and she had a cheap device and this and that, and she wasn't very technological in that. And I wasn't... it's not a great area. It's not really close to me. I felt mixed about, going there in general before this had happened. So we'd kind of lost touch and then regained touch only for it to fall apart again. It just, what I should look back at is to see if there's anything that she did that maybe was like an apology but not an apology. I guess I feel like maybe just not bringing it up again may have been her way. But this is where, it's not to the point enough, or whatever the word. It's not. That's only occurring to me now, many months later. Mine, like I said, I'm not thinking about it constantly, but occasionally. This is just me. If someone called me gay or bisexual, I wouldn't have taken offense to it. Yeah, you shouldn't. It's like somebody said something about on my friend Maxie's video, and I don't actually know if he is. Yeah, some people think he has a girlfriend for whatever reason, maybe because he's attractive. We've never seen her, but that doesn't mean he's not. That's the other thing I want to say, and I don't think you need to hear this, and there's nobody else here, so maybe remind me about relationships in a moment, and relationship dynamics. I want to maybe talk about that for a moment. But somebody said sounds gay, and a couple other people said, hey, be nice or whatever, essentially. And I said, calling something gay is not necessarily not nice. I understand that a lot of people in high school or whatever, I don't know. I haven't been in high school or school in general or whatever in ages. But when people used to say that's gay, they used to be saying it about things that they felt negative about, which was why there was the issue, because, there shouldn't be those kind of feelings about the LGBT community. right? But a lot of those people are young, and hopefully they learn. But yeah, but so, and I don't know about those people that were in that chat, but so there's definitely a deeper meaning as to why it bothered you so much. And I don't know if I've ever found what that meaning is. I'm still looking for the meaning of my life in general in some ways. And I think that's one reason why the time to do so, I'm exploring it. But, so it sounds like it's late at night, you've cleaned up most of the school, and you're, speaking of schools, and you don't have a boss watching you, so I'm glad that you're here. You're like, actually, it's not, and I do. No, just kidding. But no, if you're curious as to why, and if I was to guess why, yeah, because some people aren't. And yeah, my step is kind of one of them too, actually. The one that met Anne Murray for 20 minutes recently. Was the only step I have, and the only living father I have. And he's had a couple of strokes. Um, um, does she apologize for other things? Is a valid question. However, I don't feel like our connection with her, as long as it's been, which I could say is quite a while, like there's been anything that's came up, like there's been any issues, interestingly, which I think says a lot, actually, as to the type of connection that we have. It bothered me because I felt like what I was sharing, yeah, like I say, was not valid, was invalidated, or you know what? I'm going to pull up the exact email. Where's my tablet? Where's my damn tablet? Just a moment here. I need to put the phone down because it's charging. I haven't looked at these in a while. I don't even know what's open in my email right now. But we're about to find out. Why is it so damn warm in here? Sorry. But I definitely said some of what she said word for word. One other thing that I must say is that this is kind of the most that I've ever communicated with her online. Most of our connection was in person. And, I mean, some people will say, oh, yeah, we're online, but look at how well we're getting along, And I do believe you have to let things go sometimes early in your life, find forgiveness and this and that. And I did try to do the latter, and I struggled with it, Are you joking? Oh, okay. But yeah, so, I think that she's actually pretty good. Not that body language means the same thing all the time, but more often than not, it does. And I think she's pretty good I don't know, like I say, she's kind of quirky. I don't know if I'd say that she's sarcastic, but she's like how I would have expected her to react. Like when she initially, and then when I brought it up, I thought she would have said, oh. Well, she did kind of say, oh, that wasn't my intent. She said it was just spur of the moment comment. She didn't mean anything. I think she maybe did say she didn't mean anything by it. It's true. But like I say, I think it bugged me because it was, like, truth be told, I still, when I go out, which is rare, I still am a very masculine, well, not very masculine, but type of guy. And I see myself largely that way. And I have mostly for 38 years. I've just been kind of exploring style a bit more lately. And so I think, yeah, it just kind of felt like, I don't know if that sounds familiar or not. I don't think I have, but maybe I should look at it, eh? It just kind of felt like odd, awkward. And then, yeah, but let me just see here. Oh, and I think I'd asked if she was surprised. And this is something that she took out of context. Um, you asked if I was surprised. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I thought at first when you texted me that there was an email you wanted me to read before you emailed me any of the script. Oh, because I was working on... I don't think it would have been a script. I was working on some creative writing, which I haven't been doing, unfortunately. Are you still there, Kyle? Because it looks like you left, but I think that's inaccurate. Oh, yeah, you're still there, it looks like. You're going to get me to sign some sort of waiver that I would not steal your script and pass it off as my own or some such thing. And I think I was, but not because I was worried, more just because I thought that it was a good thing to do, with such things. Which I thought I had probably explained, but I don't know if that's in the previous email here. Still there, Kyle? Funny, because Kay looks at Kyle. An interesting story about a Kyle recently. Another one that I went to school with that has some very interesting details, because he's kind of famous, and he actually was in a coma at a very young age, but came out of it, adopted a kid. Right away, and came out of it and said, I want to go adopt a kid. Let's do this thing. Life is short. I mean, possibly because of that. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in my first message, so unless there's another thread. But basically, yeah, she said, does he really think I would do that? As far as CD, let's call it, it's only you here right now, so I'll say, gosh, stressing A. My goodness, so how long have you been feeling this way? Off and on, and I think it works perfectly with bi. Not that every bi person does, but off and on in the last year or so, which I thought was kind of a very specific way to ask it. I mean, she's being curious, right? Or earlier, just interested. Right. Okay. It keeps flashing 0101, but I think it's just being wonky, and I keep feeling a little chilly. Anyway, basically, just right away, I have unsolicited advice. Don't go with lipstick. At least not red lipstick, which is fine because I don't like that color anyway. Maybe a coral shade. Like, she's being encouraging, right? Eye makeup, fine, if not overdone. I agree. Maybe some black kohl eyes outlined. Some East Indian men wear this when they dress up for an occasion. And okay, a little bit of eyeshadow color if you insist. I missed that part before. But don't overdo it. I have to be honest, not that you asked, but my own aesthetic sense dictates I don't like frilly or lacy clothes on men or women, but that's just me. I must also admit, I'm not trying to prove anything, I know you accept me, but I've often thought that she was attractive. I know she's got a disability, that doesn't make her any less attractive. That's the type of tops she sometimes wears, kind of, and she kind of looks perky sometimes. She's kind of got a good smile. I like her as a person, but that's just me. So, is this what your film was potentially about? I thought you said it was about self-expression through music. Did I get that right? And I did say that G wasn't working on it with you, or just another. Okay, blah blah blah. Oh, good. The CDing thing is that if that's what you feel strongly drawn to do, as long as you're not using it to avoid other things. Didn't notice that before, and growth, expand. I'm not one that avoids much. I mean, I sometimes feel like life avoids me. Reaching goals is sometimes difficult. That you think you ought to be putting your energy into. But if that's what you feel you want to try or try on, then all the power to you, little brother. Hope I haven't... And it was interesting. I remember this when I looked at it before. It says, I hope I haven't offended you. Just letting myself all hang out as well. And that's what I remembered bothered me at the time, because she said, I hope I haven't offended you. And I wondered, why did she say it? Did she think she did? because she kind of did. You know what I mean? That part is especially weird to me. So that was back in July of 2024. Wow. Um, Pretty much said, I don't know what other things I can still focus on other than handing out our business cards. Uh, the rare op I get to do so, the festival, no other things really much. I guess that's partly the reason. What do you mean all hang out? And are you saying, ironically, not, but little brother because of some memory you have of your brother? It feels random. Have you always seen me as a brother? Because I wouldn't have been surprised. Or want to nurture me like a little brother, but I'm an adult. Talk to you when you get back to me. And then more of one to rapid sometimes on there, I guess, or it's just being slow. Ironically, okay, that was me. She says, yeah, open to input. I know one of you is only hearing half this story, but you're hearing, the actual conversation now after me expressing some feelings and then me expressing some feelings on it. And I value your opinions. Didn't notice you had sent any new messages till late tonight. Oh yeah, I was also surprised that she didn't know what FB meant. I thought everybody did, and she's on it. Sure, she's not avidly on it, but she's on it. And I thought that was a little silly. And she didn't even try and guess, Again, she's a lovely person, but she surprised me on these. She thinks I use a lot of short forms, which she struggles to understand. But I get pretty long too, and gotta get back to work. I'll catch the rest later. Okay. Yeah, you're at the 107 mark. I appreciate what you've said. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you wanting to catch the rest later. So I'll continue what I'm doing for a little bit longer because I got the time. And it may look like to new people that tune in like I'm just sitting here reading something off my device because I am. I don't know what that is. It's like an X, a pink square, and a few of those. But I'm thinking it's how my device is reading it. Hearts. Thank you so much, brother. You take care. And this is the thing. One other thing I just want you to know before you leave. I mean, I know you'll come back, and I appreciate that. I'm okay with dude, mate, bro. Like, that's the interesting part about it. People are complex and confusing, aren't they, sometimes? I mean, I actually quite like it. I mean, I have mostly acquaintances, not a lot of family, and unless they were my bro, it'd be a little bit weird for them to call me that. But online, maybe you can, and I like it. It shows a closeness and a camaraderie. And now I'm thinking of Lauren, who had called it endearing, but it was the moment. It was what I shared when she said it. And little, I guess I don't think of myself as little anymore. Maybe, I'm glad that you understood my feelings, and I hope other people do too. Like, I'm not trying to be childish. Just put yourself in my position, that I shared this with somebody I was comfortable with, and they had a mostly good reaction. I was glad to relook at that again. And she might wonder why I took so long to get back to her. Well, maybe, I don't know, should I tell her? But it was kind of like, yeah, yeah. As to the little brother comment, no, it's nothing deep. No brother issues or memories there. I wasn't saying she had brother issues, but I guess we do. Just kidding. It just occurred to me in the moment. Just a light fleeting term of affection. Oh, term of affection. Well, again, with what I shared, though, you would have thought, and again, and a lot of guys do this, and a lot of guys do it behind closed doors, when no one else is around, and they don't talk about it a lot. Do though. So again, this is why I say it's very important, and that we should be careful with our words, and we shouldn't. I hope I've been explaining these things well, because I would think that most people, when told about something like what I told her about, would not be saying, if they were knowing that they were a man, even in the LGBT community all their life, that they would not be saying little brother, and if they knew that they were women, they would not be saying little sister if they had shared that thing, you know. But um, little sister, don't you know? Little sister, don't you know? Little sister, don't you kiss them once or twice and tell them that they're nice and that I'm wrong. Little sister, don't you do what your bigger sister does. Haven't heard that in ages. um, but it's interesting to read that she was using it as a term of affection, unless she's just saying that phrase also a little bit off the cusp, but not actually, like, I'm not really bothered by it, but I'm a bit confused by it. Like, how is it, what, who, huh? you know? And I'm seeing, even though upside down, this picture of Reagan, and she says, I got you, buddy, I got you. And I'm glad that your friend on here does too, and I hope others do as well, because, you deserve respect and kindness like anybody else. And life's too short to hate. And that sounds a lot like my friend Ray, and I appreciate that, girl. Then she's talking about a workshop that she went to. So I guess she felt like she addressed it. Maybe she didn't know how else to address it. Her building is still quite dangerous. She's doing, like, activism stuff, mostly for, like, wilderness groups and habitat stuff. So I'm still annoyed that Habitat hasn't gotten back to me about a construction project. I said, I'm finally getting back to this. I'd almost not remembered. And I think I maybe was just saying that because I think I had been being bothered. But not for very long. Just a little more than a month. When I use short forms, I feel like I'm using the common ones. I feel like people can ask, and she seemed like the type that would, and she did, like I say with that one. But again, who doesn't know what that means? It'd be interesting if somebody tuned in and said, this is supposed to be about this topic. What do you think about this? Connected to the topic. And then I get back around to it. To me, it seemed like the reversed or mixed acceptance. Like, even slowly I've made progress, and you were trying to switch it back or suggest such. That's interesting. That's kind of what I said in the moment in this video, but I guess I'd forgotten that I'd said that to her, and I probably had talked to somebody about it, but, they were also what I felt. And the other guy wants to support me. He's only seen me in a couple of videos, and he's a new friend, and, and he, could easily, I thought I got quite a macho vibe from him, but that, a very masculine vibe, but maybe that's all the big beard or whatever. But but he's great, and he wants to make sure that I get through this, and knows how much it matters to me, it seems like, and I really appreciate that. So he said he'll catch the rest later, and thank me for sharing and being brave, essentially. I've made progress, if that's what we call it. I don't think it's not that, but it's interesting that I call it that. You were trying to switch it back or suggest such, though I know you wouldn't entirely hope to or want to do so. I just haven't had, and she might also encourage me to do that in public, but I'm not going to do that. Just haven't had the money or ability to go shopping. I still haven't even worn that much of that stuff. Another part of me still dormant. And I said it'd been busy, but I don't know what had been so busy. I guess the festival, right? I said, anyway, an opportunity to learn and grow as an ally, as we both adjust to my new curiosity. And part-time, common, know it? PT, identity, not just a prince. Oh, I think I was thinking of the song Part-Time Lover. Which I'm sure my spouse really yes. She's mentioning a name in here of somebody that she saw on TV, and I'm not too sure if I know who she's talking about. Plays a flute. Unless she's talking about G, but his name isn't Gary. He does play a flute. I don't think he was on TV for it. Oh, maybe. Barry Show. Hadn't seen you guys for a while, and I was like, I know that guy. Where do I know him from? Then it came to me. She'd been busy doing this and doing that. Oh well, one of her paintings sold for $75. I missed that because of the feelings I was having. I wasn't fully processing, which I was looking for an answer to the thing, and which she writes to, like, I don't know if it's politics or whatever. It thinks it's going to do anything, and I've never really thought that it's likely to, but oh, she's also been on a board of a committee for something, which ironically has some of the same letters. It's basically guaranteed basic livable income. She's buying a guitar at a pawn shop, so probably not a very good one. I guess she used to have one. Hopefully she, but this was in 2024, 8/29/2024, so hopefully, she, I didn't realize it was not this year, actually. Hopefully she still needs to learn, because then it could help her. I also thought it was a little bit weird how she took offense to that question when I was asking if she was surprised about this other thing. But I guess that's a misunderstanding, right? I don't know. So that's basically it. So, when he comes back to see the rest of it, there won't be that much more to see, I guess. But I just want to quickly look in my sent box, because I would think that it was showing me that too. But unless I just missed it. Yeah, I mean, I did read it. I did read where I said some more about, like somebody said, tell her how you made you feel, blah, blah. And she really didn't focus on that bit. And again, I don't want to say it's because she doesn't care. It just came across that way. I could understand if maybe she's like, oh, now I feel like a fool. I feel so embarrassed, and I've hurt him, and I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen. Let's move on. Possibly. Again, it's not necessarily my preferred approach, and I don't think it would have been in this situation, but yeah, we only got to think about this thing, but then we can't get back around to it. But could I look at it? And we all have preferences within things, and they're not the same as everybody else's necessarily. Can I? So when I look back at it, and I feel like some of those things I had thought before, which maybe kind of made it easier to kind of move past it. Some of them I haven't. But I think some of the things I just said may have been helpful. And here's the thing. I got YouTube and I watch stuff too. And another site, a couple other medias, that I use a little bit. And, I do things in my life, but not as much as I would like to do. And a lot of times things feel stagnant and boring. And I think it was a mix of not being very sunny out today. And I slept fine last night. But that I was so lethargic today. I don't know what it was. But the point of the matter being is, like, there are many times when it would have been nice to have connected with her and made plans. And maybe we'll get there again, because like I say, it really was disappointing and kind of like, why did it have to happen this way? Is it because I was looking at certain different media and now I've been cursed because of it, But, because like I say, we'd had that reconnect. And so maybe we'll have another one. Just say, things have been busy, distracting, then I forgot to reply. And maybe I could say, maybe I should be honest and say I hadn't healed from this yet, but I think I have now. And then she'll maybe operate differently in the future, knowing that, okay, next time I need to address it sooner, actually maybe say an apology, instead of trying to avoid it. Not because I don't care, but because it's uncomfortable to talk about this, and to admit that I was wrong, whatever it is. And when I look back at those messages too, there is a small part of me that feels like she kind of tried to. So I think that's progress. Anyway, this is only a little bit longer than where we left off. I'd love to finish it with a song, but this got a little deeper than I'd intended. I'm pretty tired. Like I say, I'll do quite a musical one tomorrow. In the meantime, take care. Kindness and love to all who, give it to you. And if you don't know someone yet, then they haven't been mean to you. Don't be mean to them. As far as like pronouns, I personally do feel it's a little bit awkward, the they them thing. I mean, I'm very literal, and I don't want to say that some people like to say, the grammar police or whatever, like, not to me, but like, some people like nitpick grammar a lot. I'm not like that, but with this example, I kind of am. I'm almost 40, I don't know. I think it sounds odd, but at the same time, I kind of get it. And I think that we owe people that wish to be referred to that way the respect to do so. For me, again, I'm cool if you call me dude, bro, mate. I would prefer on this platform, unless I'm talking about it, that you don't call me sister, because it'll just confuse other people and they don't know the backstory like you will once you've heard this. If we knew each other in person, and we're hanging out together or whatever, then sure. Yeah, I mean, I still fairly strongly feel my masculine identity as well, and I own that. I don't even know if I'd say that's a label. I was born male, and I haven't changed anything other than in my style and, my thinking a little bit, And part of it was because I have not been happy in some areas of life, and part of it is because I accept that I have a feminine side. I like fashion. I like being creative. When my other friend that I was talking about was here, we were looking at outfits, we were putting different things together, and, we had different opinions in some areas, but, she actually tied this. It's like a scarf, and I don't know if it's still tied, but she tied it like a vest where you put your arms through it. More wearing it behind yourself, but wearing it in front might work too. I don't know. Anyway, and and again, she accepts me too. So I'm gonna look back at this video, and I'm gonna see, the progress, And it's important that we're all making progress in the areas that we're stuck. And like I say, yes, it's also very important to, you know, don't mislabel somebody, you know, or don't be so quick to label someone. Again, if you get a strong vibe, you can say, I don't think it's a problem. Say, are you gay? I don't have a problem with it. I'm just wondering. You know, and in the right time and place, you know, not around other people that they might not want knowing or whatever. But, you know, or better question would be, are you in the LGBT community? More inclusive, you know? Um, and you're either asking because you are, which might be why you're wearing rainbow tees, let them know, because you support it, because you sense it, or like men that you can kind of tell, or transgender even, weren't or aren't initially or fully female. You know, I don't, you know, again, careful how you do it, but I think you can say, are you trans? Are you non-binary by any chance? You know, again, right time and place. I don't think that's terrible. You're not saying, you're trans. You're non-binary. You're asking and letting them tell you what they feel they are. And only they know, because they are the only person living their life, and they are the only person who has lived their life and lives in their body, mind, and soul. I'm really thankful that she's been so great about it. You know, mostly in the aging, but I mean, I haven't really done the other stuff that much. But yeah, so, you know, and this is the thing. We all want acceptance. We all want respect. I think it's a universal human need. You will lose people respect if you don't give it to them. If you don't give them the same. If they haven't done anything, you know, against you, or to, you know, to not earn it. You know, you will, you know, and you should care about that. You should care about that, because it would make your life more enjoyable, more pleasant. Your interactions, you know. And some people say, I have lots of plenty of good interactions. I'm good, you know. Just, again, it goes to the, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. You know, I noticed it a lot on this channel. Some people seem to do that. They tune in for a little while, they decide it's not their thing, even though I'm very diverse, and maybe they decide too quickly, and they tune out. They go away. You know? That's fine. I'd rather they do that than say something stupid and rude. Although I would deal with that, you know? But, yeah, it's, we're all going through things, folks. And that's the thing, you know, like, you know, I'm sure that you have some sort of deep secret or something that you long to be accepted for. And you want to be able to share that with people, whether they're strangers or otherwise, and be accepted for it. And again, you know, because that's the other thing, you get in the habit of being that way, you will intentionally or not intentionally hurt those you care about at some point. And it's very hard to undo that. I've shared a couple of examples where maybe I might still be able to, and they weren't things that I'd said. That would be a whole different scenario. But you might not get that same opportunity. So I am going to relax now and do other stuff, now that I'm not relaxed, and wrap up. Nobody's here right now. There hasn't been for a little while. One thing I did want to just look at. Hey, brother, what's going on? There you go. Hopefully people will skip ahead. They'll say, oh, he's been rolling for a long time, so he must have fixed this. That would such to be muted for an hour. Suck. Star. Yeah, I don't do it often, but when I do, I'm a star. Straight vibes, love it. I think he meant real. Back, I'm working. Yeah, I work swinger shift. Not to be confused with a swinger shift. Free spirited, if you just tuned in. Yeah, it's late at night here. Kids should be sleeping. Everywhere around the world. No, I was kidding. I'm just reading back some of the comments. That way I can read them out loud, because Sometimes they don't show afterwards, and I'm not deleting them. Um, and I just want to make sure that I got them. I'm pretty good at that. Pretty good at that. So. Left religion because there was too many questions and judgment, too many like things that didn't make sense. So I branched out and found the answers that harmonized with my heart and soul. I love how I put that actually. I honestly thought you wet straight, so or yeah, I guess I don't really think being silly is gay, but I respect everyone. But she wasn't entirely wrong. She got it half right, right? That was about the first person. I don't think you're too flamboyant. You kind of come across as an artist. Well, your feelings are valid because they're yours. What is really important to you won't necessarily be as important to someone else. Although, like I say, whether some person knows me or not, they may be. It just gets muddy. I would have apologized for third. Sure, that's just me. This is just me. If someone called me gay or bisexual, busexual is what it looks like you typed. I've never had sex with a bus, and I don't plan to. Maybe someone on a bus, no, just kidding. But not on the bus. Just kidding, just kidding. That was a bad joke. But you know, we are going to see people that we find are attractive sometimes. That's a very human thing too. And it might be on a bus. You know, and you might